Big Apple, 3 a.m.
Marvel's Spider-Man is an open-world action-adventure game developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony, which released on September 7, 2018. The story follows both Peter Parker and Spider-Man as they struggle to keep both worlds from colliding. As Peter Parker, you go through his daily trials and tribulations. Peter is fresh out of college and working as a research assistant studying artificial limb technology alongside Dr. Otto Octavius and having a hard time making ends meet. Peter's living situation is dire, and his personal relationships are almost non-existent, apart from his dear Aunt May.
Why did you ask me here, Pete?
Life isn't easy for good old Peter Parker. It's been 8 years since Peter discovered his superpowers and took on the mantle of Spider-Man. As Spider-Man, he finally succeeds in taking down the Kingpin, the biggest crime boss of New York, leaving a power vacuum in the city's underworld in the process. The Inner Demons, a crime syndicate akin to the Yakuza, proceed to fill that void and terrorize the city in ways that the Kingpin and his goons never have.
1 month! In 1 month you'll wish you had me back!
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is tasked with saving New York City from this new threat. My first thought when I first gained control of Spider-Man was simply wow, as I zipped around the realistic interpretation of New York City. After getting accustomed to the mechanics, web slinging is fast and intuitive. You'll be able to pick up on cues to web zip and jump off porches, or to freefall to pick up momentum to increase your speed. Insomniac Games really hit the nail on the head with the acrobatics and overall traversal of web slinging. The game's combat is similar enough to Batman's Arkham games to feel familiar, but still satisfying nonetheless. You gain access to a gadget wheel, each gadget with their own situational use, adding layers to the combat. During stealth sections, these gadgets can be crucial in taking out enemies quickly and quietly. As you complete story and side missions, you gain skill points which you can use to add combat and traversal skills to your repertoire. You also gain access to a large variety of different suits, which are more than just aesthetically pleasing. Each suit gives you access to a different power-up, such as filling up your focus bar, which can be used to immediately take down an enemy or heal yourself, and the ability to keep enemies from alerting others while you're in stealth mode. Between the gadgets, different suits, and skills, there's plenty of growth and diversity in the combat. The side missions consist of your typical superhero duties, like busting up heists, narking drug deals, and capturing bad guys in high-speed chases. Some side missions stood out to me, particularly taking pictures of New York's landmarks and retrieving old backpacks that Parker left behind while changing into Spider-Man. Although it's hard to believe that Parker would have lost several dozen backpacks throughout the years, did he not have books in there that he would need to study? As Peter Parker helping Dr. Octavius, gameplay consists mainly of puzzles. These puzzles consist of connecting electric currents from one side of the board to the next in order to fix some of Dr. Octavius' gadgets. The concept is simple enough, but can get quite challenging later on in the game. It's a nice change of pace between the fast action-oriented gameplay as his alter ego. You do have the option to skip these segments altogether if it's not to your liking. Spider-Man's biggest flaw is the camera during combat. The camera is about medium distance away, which means that it's not far away enough where you have a full view of the battlefield, but not close enough where the position of the enemies are front and center most of the time. You're able to control the camera angle with the right analog stick, but that can be cumbersome while fighting dozens of enemies. A workaround that I found to not have to deal with this is to press triangle to zipline and attack the closest enemy that Spider-Man is facing. If your spider senses were tingling about any visual downgrades, you can rest assured. Spider-Man is a beautiful and incredibly detailed game. From the sun's rays bouncing off the windows to the light reflecting off water puddles, even the stitching in each of Spider-Man's suits, there is extraordinary attention to detail. This is some of the best of what this generation has to offer. The voice acting is top-notch and managed to completely immerse me into the world. The performances really make you feel like you're playing a movie and not just a game.
I thought you were out of town.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Martin, you're back.
Get that.
Thank you.
The music complements the action well. The music score changes as you start web-slinging, which adds to the sense of speed and urgency as you zip through the streets of New York. Insomniac managed to capture the essence of Manhattan perfectly. The tall buildings, the multitude of landmarks, and of course, Central Park, are all rendered beautifully and true to their real-life counterpart. Insomniac Games shows that a well-crafted, fully thought-out Spider-Man game can be a truly exhilarating experience, one that has been sorely missed for well over a decade. With the web-slinging, the combat, the witty banter, and Parker's daily struggles, no Spider-Man game has captured the feeling of actually wall-crawling in Spidey's shoes quite like this. This itsy-bitsy spider did not wash down in the weight of the hype, but managed to rise above even my lofty expectations. I give Spider-Man an A. From all of us here at Rotten Apple Gaming, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a big thumbs up. Click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next video.